Okay. Let's...
Merry Christmas! I'll kill you.
Nothing yet.
We should have streamed the last
here we go.
15 minutes of us struggling in a vain attempt to get this to work.
Okay, we're still calling it a very Amigos Christmas Live. That's good enough.
Oh, crap.
No, that's fine. No one cares.
You can change that.
I can't. I'm not logged in as you guys.
You know, why is that again? Why aren't you doing that?
I don't have the information. That'd be number one with a bullet.
Yeah, I need to get it myself.
Don't start the
Are you guys ready for Christmas at your house?
We're doing better. How's that?
Mm-hmm. Well, that's something.
Oh. Oh, wrong way.
You're blowing it, eh? I wrote an entire bit for us, but I'm going to save it until after New Year. No bit for us. And by wrote, I mean mentally determined it.
Yeah.
That's
Because the heavens above know you're not actually literate.
I ain't writing nothing for nobody. I had a real nice animated Christmas background, but I'm afraid to use it. I don't know if this thing can do the job on that. So that'll be I'll have to test it and see, but I didn't have time to test it. Christmas is a tough time to get experimenty.
Yeah.
With stuff. Look at all these bullet points.
My goodness.
I got a lot of stuff on that. That's just the Game Gear too.
Oh yeah, it's got a.
So I'm gonna be going like this most of the time because I don't have my paper. Well, it's not fun for me, but being blind and all. All right, you ready to do it?
Let me make sure I got my stuff in order.
Well, you know, it almost looked like a white Christmas outside today.
Well, yeah, from frost, frigid death.
I'm dreaming of a swamp Christmas. The kind that I hate, and which would go away.
Well, it's gonna, it's supposed to get up to like mid-50s Fahrenheit.
Oh yeah, when?
It's Christmas.
Is it gonna rain the entire time?
No, it's not supposed to rain. I was up until the 2 a.m. mark last night.
What were you doing?
Well,
were you playing Woody Pop?
Do you want the truth?
Or the truth?
I was the truth. Or the truth.
I don't know. What were you doing?
I was playing Ninja Gaiden and Woody Pop.
You had to get your last minute go for it in.
And I'm glad I did, but we'll get into that later.
Okay. Can we start now, boss? Has anybody shown up per chance?
Yeah, we got Pixels and Duncan inside.
What up, y'all? You can see we're off to a roaring start. 7 or 8 minutes late, but we're
15.
Well, yeah, but we've been on for a few minutes now.
No, we suck.
Listen,
just admit it to the audience.
You suck. I am the one that's pulling all the heavy lifting here.
Well,
you're doing nothing.
I think I'm just as heavy lifting as you are.
The word
every time we walk.
Listen, the word half-ass gets thrown around a lot, but you are the walking, talking embodiment of that particular word. What do you think of that?
Yeah.
I wanted to keep waxing.
You were starting down a path.
I was going down one,
and then you're like, you know what?
Yeah.
Screw it. I'm just gonna sleep here.
I'm not giving it away, man. I'm saving all the good stuff for the show.
Oh. Well, why are you waiting 60-some episodes in?
Well, Windows. Have I talked about how much I can't stand Windows? Have I mentioned that?
Why?
Oh God, what just happened? No. Sweet Lord, no.
You're touching the...
We gotta start getting this thing going before I screw something up.
Well, just...
Are you ready?
We're gonna start screwing stuff up?
Yeah.
Alright.
Me.
Yeah,
Rutabaga.
Trust me, I know it's all about you.
Rutabaga. What do you talking about me?
That's
Hey, anytime you've got something to add, you just go ahead and write. It's like you're timid or something. What do you got?
I'm a shy little butterfly.
Yeah, right. You're not little, that's for sure.
Okay, I'm a shy big butterfly.
Yeah. You're a big butter ball. Okay, you ready?
Do you know what you're going with?
I'm gonna wing it.
And how's that different?
I'm going here. I know. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. Let me look at my cuts here. All right.
Okay.
I got it.
No, starting pose.
What does that mean? Oh. See, I don't get the pose.
I can't get to the ribbon.
Are you kidding me? There's no time for a bit. There's no time for a bit.
Here, give me those papers.
Oh, we haven't put something on the wheel.
Oh.
Let's hurry up and do that real quick. I knew we forgot something.
Oh, man.
We
are always prepared. That's what I love about us. Oh, boy.
Yeah, we got to go back.
You're going to have to go to a... No.
Yeah, I'm doing it. It's Christmas. It's Christmas. So what are the odds it's going to come up? They're going to be slim. They have got to be slim.
I'm going to make us some more... I got to make us more pie pieces.
Please do. And then we'll take this right back off. Let's move this down here where there's no possible. I'm sure that'll help. You know, sure as I'm sitting here, that's going to come up.
100% chance.
And Saturn's languishing in obscurity. All right. Are you ready, Brent, the boy? Are you ready?
Yes.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to a geared up edition of ARG Presents. I am Amigo Aaron, joined by a man who can run 20 minutes on 6,000 AA batteries. The Brent.
That's probably somewhat accurate.
Even worse battery retention than the Game Gear.
Well, no, that's not possible.
Can you imagine that? So this is just a pack right here.
Wait,
this big belly. There's a pack of batteries down in there.
I'm more of a D-cell guy.
Yeah, no kidding, man. Car battery for me. So, if you tuned in last week, we spun the wheel. We made the deal. And this week, we'll be playing games on the portable Sega Game Gear handheld console. Now, Brent, what do you know about the Sega Game Gear?
Let me tell you something. My buddy owned one of these back in the day, and I remember sitting in his basement and playing on the PlayStation. So, well, you know, all good Game Gear stories start with playing on the PlayStation.
So you had the Game Gear accessible, but chose not to play it.
We played
a brilliant story.
We played Final Fantasy, and whoever was controlling the characters on the Final Fantasy and making those choices had the controller, and the other person got relegated to Game Gear duty.
So it was the dud.
Yeah. But, well, and also another
thing. It's a terrible story to start the show with.
Another thing that we used the Game Gear for was my friend had a little brother, much little. It was a 10-year difference. So he would come around and want to play games with us. And, you know, the mom, you know, play nice, everybody.
Yeah.
So what we'd do is we'd get all hyped up over playing with Game Gear, and then he would want to play with Game Gear, so we'd give it to him and go play the other stuff.
So it was literally a pacifier.
Yeah. Well, and that's not to say the Game Gear wasn't fun. It had a lot of nice qualities with it, but yeah, we definitely used it as a distraction.
To be fair, this was when the PlayStation was out, so by then the Game Gear had been out for a few years.
Yeah, it was well past the prime. and also it's not the way that the Game Gear was meant to be played. You know, the Game Gear you took in a car with you, not sat on the couch and played it. But you know,
well, unless you didn't have enough batteries.
Well, right, unless you wanted to play an entire game from getting to end.
So let's take a look. I do have the Gambletron this week. We're gonna take a look at some interesting tidbits about the Sega Game Gear. So the Game Gear was released in Japan October 6, 1990. North America and the EU got it in April of 91. So there was a pretty good gap in there.
Yeah,
Brent.
there
now,
was.
One would think that, why do you think they've had such a long release date there? And we think we both know why.
Money?
No, because so they could get some games ready for this.
Oh, well, that didn't go well.
Well, yeah, it didn't because they only had 6 games to launch. So one would have assumed. I don't know what they launched with in Japan, but I mean that's not good. This thing debuted at $150 US in today 2018 money, $289.
Which I think was an okay price. I really do.
I will say that when the Game Gear debuted back in the day, I thought it was a pretty high-end luxury handheld.
Yeah.
I mean, because you had the game. We all knew about the Game Boy.
Yes.
That had been out for several years at that point. And then then we knew about the Lynx even. But here's this thing comes out, and it was a good look. First of all, it had Sega's pedigree behind it, which still meant something.
It meant something back then, yeah.
And it was a handheld that had beautiful color graphics. That it looked like a game player's machine, the way it was shaped. And I thought, at the time, this is a boutique, super high-end, nice handheld. And, and maybe there's nothing. That's not saying it's not. It was a sharp-looking unit.
Well, looking back on it now, you see some of the flaws with the screen smearing and the longevity of the machine for its battery life and whatnot.
Yeah. So you want to take I'm interested to see if you can take a guess on how many units sold worldwide.
Worldwide, I'll say 2.5 mil.
Way off.
Really?
You are horrible at this game.
I'm not great. No, especially not
somewhere around 11 million units were sold worldwide. So that it sold more than you would have thought.
Yes, it definitely would have. Really, 11? That seems really high.
Yeah, it's true. And now there's a callback to last week's episode, which I'll get into, just to get into some of what was in this thing. It had a Zilog Z80 3.5 megahertz proc processor. It had 8K of memory, 16K video RAM, and a display. The display on it was a 3.2 square inch backlit screen.
Yeah,
which was, quite remarkable for its
at
time.
The time. Yeah,
and it did 160 by 144. And it had 4,096 color palette, 32 colors on the screen at once. So that's a pretty rocking thing. But here's the sound in this thing: Texas Instruments sound.
Sure, why not?
It was a mono speaker. Now the funny thing about this thing was it actually could do stereo if you plugged in a headphone jack.
I was about ready to say I remember it being in stereo, so that's what be why.
Now and we touched on this earlier. This thing was powered by 6, count them, 6, not 5, but 6. AA batteries, the highest, strongest AA's you can find in a house.
Yeah.
This thing would run through batteries at a rate of, now they said with 6 AA's you could get 3 to 5 hours.
Definitely more towards 3.
My experience on the one I've got is that you can actually get about at least 3, because I'll go on it for a while when I'm playing it. I think some of it depends on what it's being asked to do and volume and whatnot.
Well, and how high you have your backlight and whatnot. Yeah.
So, this thing was developed at Sega under the nickname Project Mercury. They always got the coolest nicknames, don't they? And it was primarily put together to compete with the Game Boy and the Atari Lynx, of course, and the NEC's Turbo Express, which was an awesome little device that played TurboGrafx games.
We need to get that on the
Can you imagine, by the way, now, I've been playing a lot of TurboGrafx games recently because I got an EverDrive for my TurboGrafx 16. And the games on that are quite remarkable. I mean, they're really good.
Sure.
Can you imagine rolling up to the playground with your Game Boy, and then some kid comes up with his freaking Turbo Express? You'd be like, holy crap. The flip side of it is, no one had one of these.
Also, if you wanted to play it after lunch, there would be no chance.
Well, yeah, fair enough. So, this system is pretty well known for basically having a lot of hardware in common with the Master System.
Yes, a ton of hardware. Yes.
Yes. So, unlike the Master System, though, like I said, it can do stereo sound. The Master System can only do mono. Much like the Master System, at the gate's got a D-pad and 2 buttons labeled 1 and 2. It also has a start button. This thing was modeled by Sega to be more game player accessible in terms of ease to hold. The Game Boy is an awkward little unit sometimes to hold. This was with the screen sideways, horizontal. This thing was had the ability to be held like a controller, which is what they based this on, like a game controller.
Although I preferred Game Boy.
I understand. I mean, everyone's got their thing. One thing this did, though, was give you the old sweaty palm. The Game Gear will heat up, and that's a fact. I've noticed that myself. That it will heat up. Something that bears mentioning is that when the game, this is a device that was developed like many other devices when there was a worldwide capacitor issue. And so what that means is this is one of those devices that the caps will go bad on and cause them to fail.
Yes.
Now, if you're an electronics repair type person, it's not that difficult to go in there and replace those capacitors. They're electrolytic capacitors. They look like little barrels, and these things will pop.
Yes.
There was a in that time, and this has happened since as well, where bad capacitors have been shipped, and these things ship on huge spindles, and when they ship them out to all these manufacturers, you're talking tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, maybe more. So,
and the bad thing about it is there are reports, especially nowadays. It's not only that they pop, but they leak.
Yeah.
And if they leak on the board, then you've got issues.
That's right. That's right. And we know that from the pinball world as well. This thing did have an AC adapter you could get if you were to plug it in, which a lot of people have.
Nearly mandatory if you want to play at home.
I don't have one of those, unfortunately, so I've got to grin and bear it. The games on the Master System, while this was pretty much a portable version of the Master System, you could just stick a game on there. They did have a converter that you could put in there, and then you could play your Master System games.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Which, can you imagine that? Because that's weird.
That would add to, I mean, the unit's already somewhat bulky.
Yeah, it was called the Master Gear Converter.
Huh.
So you got me. But part of the reason they used that, well, I mean, obviously it was a cost cutting measure. The hardware was already developed,
right?
But it was easy to port stuff over, and that was part of their plan, was to port a lot of games. And the Master System had a pretty good library too. I've got a Master System with a bunch of games, and it's a lot of fun. I think. So one of the problems that Sega ran into right away was third-party support. Okay. Why do you think this is? I think you probably know, but
because you could go to Nintendo, and Nintendo already had a huge customer base.
Well, it's not just that. Nintendo wouldn't let you put your stuff on there, and so they purposely made it so they had, contractually you could not make stuff for the Game Gear. So that kind of reduced the amount of third-party support that the Game Gear got. To put it in perspective, the battery issue, I'd say, was the #1 downfall of this machine. Six AA's will run you 3 to 5 hours. I mean, if you get 5 hours, good on you. Whereas the Game Boy could run 30 hours on 4 AA. So
yeah, and this is back in a time. I mean, it's a lot different than now. Batteries back in the day were expensive.
Right, you're right, and they weren't that great.
No.
Sega released to combat this. They released 2 types of external rechargeable battery packs.
Yes.
I have one of the huge bulky ones, and there were many more released by third parties.
Oh, yes.
And all kinds of wacky stuff you clip on your belt, and stuff that you hang on the back of this thing. It was all kinds of crazy stuff on there. So when they brought this out, Sega was in full swing. Of course, Sega was supporting a ton of consoles at this point when this thing came out, and so or peripherals, I should say. But they were going on their kind of gross out campaign, and I looked up to see what kind of commercials they were running. And in Japan, they had like hot girls. That's probably the way to go. In America, it was basically like it compared the Game Boy. It would have a side-by-side comparison, and it would say like, look, here's the dumpy loser playing the Game Boy. Here's like the cool guy. 80s or 90s cool guy. And he looked, by today's standards, not that cool. So, when the Game Gear was out, now think about this for a second. The Sega was taking care of the Sega CD, the Sega 32X, and developing the Sega Saturn. So they had a lot of. I don't think really that had anything to do with the downfall, though. To be honest.
No.
I think
it was battery life in games.
Yeah, I agree with you. So. Get this. Now, I didn't know this. This is wacky. Sega ended support for the Game Gear in, I believe it was 97, okay? Yeah, April 30th, 97.
Okay, that sounds...
In 2001, Majesco basically licensed it and re-released the Game Gear in the States. Yeah. Did you? I didn't know that either.
As what?
And in Japan, as a Game Gear. And they were, get this, Majesco released it, and it was $30, and they released it in the U.S. at $30. My bad, and the games are $15. They just re-released it. You know, and Majesco, of course, they're a software publisher generally, and they've done a lot of like shooting game, you know, shoot 'em ups and whatnot. But I thought that was kind of neat. I'm dying. I wish I'd picked one of those up.
Yeah, I mean, maybe I didn't pay enough attention because I'm, you know, always looking at the next best thing.
Yeah,
I don't remember that at all.
Take a guess how many games were released for the Game Gear officially.
Worldwide.
Yeah.
Oh man, it can't be more than say 150.
300 games.
Wow.
A little over 300.
There must have been a lot of Japanese crap out there.
To put it in perspective, the Game Boy's library of games is over 1,000 games.
Yeah, tenfold. Yeah.
And this thing never even. I think they had like maybe 10% of the market share when a Game Boy was riding high. So.
Oh, huh?
Yeah, they had.
Oh, Game Gear had. 10%.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah.
Okay.
The game that was the highest seller on this system was Land of Illusion, starring Mickey Mouse, which that's kind of interesting, isn't it?
Huh.
Yeah. So
odd.
You know, it's an interesting system. Brent sort of hit on this early when it said the screen on this thing is fuzzy. And now, especially as they get older.
Yeah.
And a lot of these things, I mean, can
right
be had
away.
are junk. I was very fortunate to find one of these at a flea market, and I talked the guy down to a real reasonable price on it, and then I ended up finding the battery pack in a junk bin somewhere. But that makes the system tough to collect for. I mean, could you collect for it? Yes, but it's going to be. There are ways to retrofit that screen with something better.
Yes, and you have to, because the screen is physically rotting away. The material that it's made of, it's going to keep getting either fuzzy, which makes it whiter, or you're going to lose all your contrast even when it's all the way up. You're not going to be able to see the game. So if you say, man, I'm going to go out and get a Game Gear, you have to be ready to replace the screen.
I should mention that in the Japanese tradition, they were released in multiple colors. Now, I'll have to say, I have never seen one that wasn't black. But they've got black and red and blue. So there were multiple colors of this particular item. So, from this library with around 300 or so games, we were tasked with picking a couple winners.
Yeah.
And, well, we picked a couple games. We'll see how we go from there. So, Brent, why don't you lead the charge this week and tell the folks what game, out of the plethora of games for the Game Gear that you chose.
I went with Woody Pop.
Woody Pop. Now,
yes.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I've never heard of this game.
I had not until I started doing research.
Okay, go ahead.
Woody Pop. This was a game that originally came out for the Sega Master System, and it actually has a little bit of an interesting story with it, so I want to touch on it. When it was released on the Sega Master System, it was the last Sega card game.
Oh, okay. My Master System doesn't have. I've got a Master System too, so it doesn't have a card slot. Yeah.
Outside of Japan, they didn't use the cards.
Well, no, in America, the first version
they
used
had
cards.
It right, but
no, they sold them.
No, they did, but they never made anything new.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Past a certain level, okay.
Right. So this was the last game that came out on the card system in 87. Mm. Another weird thing about it for the Master System, it came with a controller that had a track wheel on it. And
really?
Yes. In fact, if you don't have that controller, you cannot play the game on the Master System.
So you're talking about because those card games were generally very inexpensive.
Yes.
This one's shipped with
a controller.
Wow.
Yes.
Now I want that, and I can't even play it.
Yeah. And one of the reasons that I picked this especially after doing a little bit of research on it, was I wanted to see how well they took those analog controls, specialized controller just for the game, and got it onto the Game Gear. So I went and I thought, man, I've got to check this out, because playing it with a keyboard or playing it with a D-pad is pretty similar. I mean, it's on and off, no analog at all. Mm-hmm. So I wanted to take a shot at this. So Woody Pop, what is Woody Pop? it has a crazy made-up garbage story that I actually kind of enjoy. Woody Pop is an old wooden toy, and he is in a magical toy factory. So
how fitting for this time of the year.
So he is enjoying his little toy factory, and it's making out all the toys, when suddenly he notices that rooms are getting boarded up. They're putting blocks everywhere and you can't get out. Well, it's the new electronic toys that are starting to take over, and they're trying to block all the old toys in so they can't get out and
that's how they do it.
do their thing.
Yeah.
So Woody Pop is the only toy courageous enough to go and fight all the mad machines that are trying to lock them up.
See, when I played this, I never knew any of this.
Yeah, well, it's back in the day. You got to go to the instruction manual if you want the story. So you take control of Woody Pop, who on the box art is this awesome-looking wooden man who's throwing this, the ball orb around. In the game, he's a plank of wood. So that's a thing. And I was kind of disappointed when I fired it up. I was like, oh.
I was just thinking, that's a toy?
Yeah, that's it. Maybe
planking.
Maybe they should block up the room when your toy is a piece of wood with a face on it.
Yeah, considering that you're competing against Game Boy, you're probably burned.
So, gameplay, what is this game? It's an Arkanoid / Breakout clone.
Yes.
I mean, it's got power-ups. It's got enemies that will walk around the screen. It's
the Devil's Crush of Arkanoid.
Well, here's the thing. Almost all these breakout type games, and there's many of them, on multiple platforms. You have to copy the Arkanoid thing because there's not a whole lot you can do. So I don't fault it for being an Arkanoid clone. And with all of these type of things, in my opinion, there's three things that really matter. You have to have good controls, you have to have interesting level design, and you have to have cool power-ups.
Okay.
I think that's what makes an Arkanoid game.
And so your thoughts on this?
So let's talk about controls first. I actually don't hate them. I thought I was going to hate these controls. I thought I was never going to be able to get to where I wanted to go or hit the ball the way I wanted to. I found myself being able to control this better than any Arkanoid clone on a digital pad. And I think it is because at the bottom of the screen, you're in a room. So to get the ball past you, there are two lips on either side of the room that will actually bounce the ball back up. Now, there are power-ups, or I guess debuffs, that make those go away. But by default, they're always there. So you only have to worry about the middle 3/4 of the screen because the edges are covered. I think that made all the difference. You have one button that will slow your paddle down for precise movements. I never used it. Didn't see the point. The game gets going decently fast. Now, I will have to say, I've, of course, played this on emulation, so I had the benefit of not having to worry about screen smear. This was as pure form as I could possibly get it. And I was able to play very well without, losing track of the ball or getting too fast.
Because I can see that'd be a problem on the little screen.
Absolutely.
Especially with a bad screen smear going
Absolutely.
on. Yeah.
But I thought this controlled exceptionally well. Number 2, level design. Does it have interesting level design? It has some interesting level design. And what I mean by that is the enemies that are on some of the levels aren't just there. There's actually a square, a block that you would normally hit and destroy, that when you hit it, it opens up and 3 bad guys jump out.
Yeah.
I thought that was very clever. Also, some of the stages have a train that goes across that will hit your ball. And the trains are evil too.
Infuriating.
Yeah, they're evil too because they're steam powered.
They're also low on the screen.
Yes,
and so they screw
sometimes, not always.
They're lower than the blocks.
Yes, yeah. The other level of design I thought was very interesting is it has tunnels. I don't know if you saw any of them, but you can hit a ball in a hole at the bottom of the screen, and it actually pops out the top. I thought that was pretty good, pretty clever.
It's like Portal.
Yeah. Unfortunately, some of the stages are just blocks roughly designed to be a shape.
Standard.
And that is so boring. I'm not expecting every level to introduce a new mechanic, okay? That's not going to happen. Now, this thing has 50 levels, which I played almost. I did not beat this, but I came very close.
Really?
Yes.
I did not.
The very last thing it does from a gameplay level design perspective is multiple branching paths. You are in a maze for all intents and purposes. And when you complete a stage, sometimes you only have one option. You can only go forward. But other times you'll have options where you can go to the left door, the right door, or the front door. And it gives you different scores based on if you're going into a more difficult room. So if you're on level, say 3, and you want to just go to level 4, it will give you 1,000 points. But if you want to go to like level 9, it will tempt you with more points. And it doesn't say level 3, level 9, blah, 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 because it's supposed to be based on a maze. So even though you're just warping to a different level, you have to take a path to get there. You can't just say, I'm going from level 3 to level 10. I thought that was very clever, and it made me play it more times than I normally play these things, so I could go, well, I don't want to play levels 1 through 9 again just to see what 10 looks like. I'm going to play to level 3, and instead of going left, I'm going to go up. So you can see different levels in a shorter amount of time. Lastly, power-ups. This game has a fair amount of them, so I'm going to run through it real quick. You can get a diamond power-up, which turns your orb into a diamond. That will just smash right through everything. Pretty standard fare. Flames is something that's somewhat unique to this game. When you get it, when you hit the blocks, it sets the blocks that you hit on fire and a row behind them. The more powerful blocks won't burn immediately, but standard blocks will catch fire, and it's kind of a neat effect. Weight, the ball becomes heavier and moves slower. You can get yellow potions, which makes Weddy bigger. I'm not even going to go there.
Indeed.
Red potions makes the ball bigger. You can get ball splitters, extra balls, a laser attachment, which is actually smoke, which I don't get that, but okay. Glue, which is your standard ball catch. Skull, which the little supports at the edge of the screen to bounce your ball back go away. And hammer brings those back. So the power-ups are by far the weakest part of this game.
They're very Arkanoid-like.
They're only
extremely Arkanoid-like.
Yes, the only thing that's unique is flame. And they could have done more.
Well, they could have done more. It's where they're different.
Well, but...
Hey, I'm trying here for you.
No, I actually didn't hate this game. I didn't hate this game. Especially considering I normally cannot play breakout games for more than 5 or 10 minutes. I just get so frustrated at having one block and never being able to get it. So, like I said, I played this game. I did not play it to the end, but I played at least 25 screens. And apparently I did not take the path to get to the end.
That's a good run. Did you have to save states a lot to do that?
No. Because the game has endless continues.
Yeah, I know, but I'm saying just to...
some of the rooms are difficult, but yeah. I never felt that they were so difficult that I couldn't get past them.
I did. I thought that a bunch of times.
But I had fun with this game. What'd you think?
It's Arkanoid.
Yep.
It's like... some of it's a wood-grained Arkanoid. Hey, listen. The backstory's cute. I didn't know it. All right. I don't have this for my Game Gear, so I had to emulate it. And so my choices were, I used the Xbox. I used 3 different things because I didn't like the controls. Let's boil it down. A paddle is the natural partner of a game like this, a proper paddle. And I didn't have a paddle. So at first I used the Xbox and I played it with the Xbox controller. And I couldn't control it precisely enough. I just didn't like it.
Really?
So the next thing I tried was I got an emulator going on the PC, and I used the keyboard.
Mm-hmm.
It was a little better, but I still didn't think I controlled it very well. So finally, I rigged up my mouse to act as the to have something I can move like this, and the mouse was the best of the three.
But that's completely taken away from the spirit
I'm
of
just
the game.
telling you, I didn't like the way it controlled. I thought when using the controller, listen, you can't deny the fact that a spinner is better.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Without question.
And there's a reason why they released one with the game.
Yes.
I mean, let's face facts here. And you clearly don't have a spinner on this thing, and so you're right. That is the make or break point of the game. For me, I could not control this good enough to play it.
I think that's fair.
I've played these Arkanoid type games on the DS, for example. Okay, and what they've done on there is they've let you use the stylus to move your platform around. That's another great way to do it.
Yeah,
it works. Is it as fun as a spinner? No. But it does work. Call me a traditionalist. Call me someone that just is not good enough to control it. But I couldn't control this without a spinner. I just didn't like the way it controlled. I mean, again, I thought it was standard. This looks like something that you could have seen a cloned on any number of systems.
Oh yes.
There was nothing. They did not only did not reinvent the wheel. They didn't. I mean, you could probably get sued for how close. I mean,
no.
No.
Because it did some things different.
The train. I mean, I will say the train was different.
The enemy blocks making the enemies.
The guys
being
coming
able
out.
To control the
there was
way
a few
you go
things,
through
but they were insignificant to the overall picture. Now, I'm not going to kill the game. Every good portable machine needs an Arkanoid type game.
Yeah.
Whether it's Arkanoid or Woody Pop or whatever.
Right.
And I don't believe Arkanoid was released for this. So this is probably the only thing you had in that realm. And it's okay, but it just and they played the hand they were dealt. If you're going to release this on the and I wasn't aware this was a Master System game.
In fact, it's almost a direct port. The graphics are 100% the same.
So I may have to get the controller and try it on the Genesis. And see if I can use it to play this with the EverDrive card.
One thing worth noting: the sound in this game is really bad.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Yeah,
it's not. Well, that's not fair. It's not the best.
It's not good enough.
Yeah.
You need a really good backing track or good sound effects, and this game had neither.
Yeah.
So this is definitely something you would play. Turn the volume all the way down and plug your Walkman in.
And the graphics are pedestrian. I mean, again, it's
but
an
they get it
Arkanoid
done.
But I mean, it's a little busy too. I mean,
I didn't
thing
think
about
so.
Arkanoid is you've got a black background generally, or some like grid patterns.
Shapes.
But I mean, the shapes lay over it. This thing has a bunch of stuff going on for a little. I can see if you're playing this on a little screen, it could be a little more difficult.
Maybe. Sale wise, if you wanted to pick up a little bit of Woody Pop in your life, goes as cheap as $1 for a loose card.
I got $1.
And completely new, sealed, still in cellophane, about a 20.
That's not bad.
It is a cheapo.
It's a shame that they could not have a spin. No console has a spinner. I mean, except for the a proper
portable.
No portable console has a spinner. But that would.
I mean, you could do the modern consoles that have analog sticks, you can get away with it. But
yeah, an analog stick, you'd probably be in business on something like this. I've never, it's funny. I've never played a console with an analog stick on it, a portable, and then tried a game like this. Have you? Does it work? Does it translate?
I typically don't like these type of games, so I've never sought them out.
Yeah, there you go. I should try. I should try putting this on the PSP sometime. That might work.
The question now is, what did you bring to the table?
Well, this was a tough choice this week because despite the fact that I had a Game Gear, I don't play it a ton. I've got most of the normal games. I've got
your Sonics,
the Sonics, Mortal Kombat's, Columns, and and we should mention that this shipped with columns.
Yeah.
Which was a
it's because the Game Boy shipped with Tetris.
That doesn't get the job done.
No, columns is inferior.
And something else I thought about while you were talking is this thing also had the unique wacky peripheral that turned it into a TV.
Yeah.
And which I thought was cool. It's a shame that that's all gone now. But that was probably a hot tamale back in the day.
Oh yeah, I'm sure it made your battery life great.
So anyway,
what did you bring?
I struggled to pick a game here, much like I struggled to get into this segment. But I went ahead and chose Ninja Gaiden.
Yes.
Now,
hi.
I will admit that the Ninja Gaiden I liked was the arcade, run around like a maniac.
And the Ninja Gaiden I liked was from the Nintendo.
Right, which I have not did not have much success on, admittedly. But I went ahead and picked Ninja Gaiden because I thought I knew this. I had read about this game for the Game Gear and how it was a lot different from the other Ninja Gaidens, and I also heard it wasn't super hard. And that's what drew me in was the fact that it wasn't that hard. So again, Ninja Gaiden. This was developed by the Japanese System House. I love them. The Japanese development Professor. And this was released in Japan on November 1st of '91, and North American EU got it in '91 too. So it had to have been released somewhere towards the end of the year, probably Christmas time, if you know what I'm saying. How appropriate, right? So this is a 2D action platformer.
Yeah.
This thing came out in U.S. dollars. You're looking at about $40 in when it came out in '91. So by today's money, you're probably looking at about $60 or so. Yeah. That's a pretty
was pretty standard for the.
Well, that don't make it right. So, you again play Ryu Hayabusa.
Yes.
The most generic ninja name in all of ninjas. And now I'm not gonna lie, I'm not super into the whole Ninja Gaiden lore or whatever. You know, like maybe you are. Like I know all the backstories. Like I said, in the arcade version, I like the fact that he shows him on the boat, and it comes over. And I remember the Nintendo version sort of being like a lamer version of the arcade. I mean, they take some of that from the arcade. No, I mean he comes to America, and there's some cutscenes in it.
There's cutscenes, but it has almost nothing to do with the arcade version.
The arcade version was flips, killing suckers with Jason masks, and hanging on overhead things and kicking people. You remember all that cool stuff? Flips.
Oh yeah, I remember the arcade version.
I remember seeing the Nintendo version. I was just like, It's a lot like when Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was out. I remember the arcade version. I was like, man, this is really cool. And then you play the NES version. It's like, oh, this is hot garbage.
I love Turtles.
Well, I don't like it. So anyway, this is standard ninja fare. Again, you play Ryu, and you run. Now, I'll tell you, and I read, it's funny, because I thought this, then I read this. He runs like Strider. He's got that
100%.
Although this is a classic ninja running, like anime. Ninjas run differently than normal men. They lean forward, and they've got their arms flailing, and their swords, and they're running like this. Do you remember the beginning of the arcade version of Ninja Gaiden, where he's in the moonlight, and there's a Jason mask guy, and they both run at each other, and they both jump, and he runs just like this in that, and he runs up, and he cuts that sucker down, and the guy, his hands are on the screen, he goes like, this is like Ninja Gaiden, and you're like, oh yeah.
You see, you're way overhyping the arcade version when you're supposed to be talking about the Game Gear
Well, I'm just saying, there is precedent to this guy running like Strider, because, I'm just saying.
Sure, okay.
That's my setup, that's all I can tell you. So
your segues have been horrible.
Listen, the plot in this thing's wacky. I'm not gonna lie to you.
No, it's pretty standard fare.
So,
for a Ninja Gaiden game,
Ryu has to stop an evil organization led by a demon.
Yep.
Okay.
As they often are.
That's right. He wants to start World War III.
Yes.
And he's attempting to steal a sword, which apparently is Ryu's sword, from his home village. And Ryu's not happy about this. He goes to start stomping some demon tail, and he starts at home. So something I should mention before I get into the actual gameplay, and this was mentioned a bunch of times, I had to bring it up. So if you watch this game come up, it says reprogrammed game copyright Sega 199X, right? And what they were implying was that they had taken the NES version and reprogrammed it for the Game Gear. They did not. So I don't know why. I don't know why. And there's a lot of speculation as to why that's in there, but it's in there. I also found out Ninja Gaiden for the Game Gear is the first Ninja Gaiden game to share one title for all regions. Because I guess in Japan it had a different name.
Okay.
From what I could, and I'm sure people that are into the scene know more than me, but apparently Gaiden has super violent connotations. Something in Japan, so they call it something different over there. As far as I can tell, hey, you got me on that one. So I thought that was kind of nutty.
I mean, Ninja is often known for their being so passive.
Well, I mean, look in the UK where they had to be Teenage Mutant Ninja Hero Turtles.
I know.
It's the same because, I mean, hey, every region's got their nut bags who make it difficult for the rest of us cool guys. All right, so
thank goodness we've passed that silliness and went straight into other silliness.
Yeah.
All right, let's continue.
So you're Ryu. You're running through the sucker. The first level is sort of like let's go with Japanese forest. How about that? With some like castle elements to this part.
Very Great Wall of China-ish.
The controls in this thing are drop dead simple. You've got one button jumps and one button activates the old sword. And if you hit that, which we'll call that the action button, if you hold down and hit the action button, you'll use one of your special items.
If you have
the power. Basically, on the first level, you're confronted with a bunch of other ninjas. You're hacking them up. It's pretty much standard. This
controls are dead on, by the way.
Yeah, the controls are fine, and he just basically it's actually a pretty simple game. Ryu he does have some tricks. He can do the old wall climb. He'll cling to the wall and climb up, presumably with his ninja claws. Those things are always cool. I always wanted to buy a pair of those, but I knew I couldn't climb jack squat with them. And I ended up going like this and raking my head open with them, but I always thought those were cool. They had the little foot ones, the tabby boots. So ninjas were the big deal when I was a kid. So anyway, Ryu runs to the level. He can jump. He can stab. And he can occasionally, and not more than occasionally, often you'll see these little orbs floating around. Yes. And you whack these orbs with your sword, and they'll have a scroll or a weapon or a potion or something in them. And it's pretty standard stuff. He'll have throwing stars. There's this power that looks like almost like a boomerang that'll shoot upwards.
Straight up, yeah.
And then he can get more power and he can get more health occasionally.
Triple shot.
Yeah, triple shot. So there's nothing that reinvents. I mean, it's real standard, isn't it? There's nothing,
there's nothing awesome.
I guess the one that shoots up is the most bizarre one. So as he goes through these levels, he just kills a bunch of people on his way to the end, the boss. I mean, there's not anything more to say about it. And each level has sort of a different variety of people. But ninjas are always around because you know how those ninjas are. You got 4 basic levels here. You've got a Japanese outdoor level. And then you've got a level that's in a harbor, sort of like a business harbor, like a professional harbor, like where ships are coming, shipping harbor. It's not like a sedate harbor.
No.
Then you've got a skyscraper level. We got to talk about this level here in a minute because I got a lot to say about that one. And then at the end, you've got this temple level, I guess, where you're infiltrating to the temple. Now, I will admit, I did not get past the harbor level.
Oh, really?
No, but I did watch the game.
The harbor level was the hardest level.
And after each level, you've got yourself an end boss.
Yeah.
Okay, now, the end bosses in this, the first end boss is a guy with a club, which I think he is some sort of, I think it's like an orc or an ogre
like some kind of
or
demon
something.
brute.
But he's some sort of monk-type demon guy, maybe a religious zealot or something. So you got him. Then you've got...
By the way, hardest boss in the game.
Well, he is, but he's not.
He's the hardest boss in the game.
He's the longest boss, that's for sure.
Because you have to have a trick to beat him.
Yeah, when you turn around...
Yeah, you can't just hit him with your sword. That makes too much sense.
Well, you can, but it takes forever to kill him that way.
Well, you run out of time.
No, you can do it. You can do it. That's how I killed him.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but I think I got a few shots in when I got lucky, but when you turn around this boss, and this is how you do it, like I'm doing and demonstrating here. He'll try to club you, and when his club misses, you can whack him a few times.
Yeah.
But I mean, that sounds pretty easy. It's not. It's real tough.
You have to figure it out. Also, well, I'll get into that when
he's the toughest, easiest boss of all time.
Yeah.
So
I'll get into it.
Then you've got my personal favorite, the porthole boat guy. There's a guy who fights you by sticking his head out of these portholes in this boat, and you whack him. It's almost like whack-a-mole of Goose. What'd you think of that guy?
In addition to the guy sticking his head out of the thing and throwing grenades at you,
yes.
For some reason, the boat that he's on is also shooting flaming balls out of his smokestack.
You know what pissed me off on that level? They had these guys that would jump out of the water with I guess they had harpoon guns, and they insta-hit. They would hit you on their ascent.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome.
It was cheap, is what it was.
It was.
I mean, could you even not get hit by those if you weren't getting lucky?
No, yeah.
These guys,
just as soon as you hear them coming out of the water, if you jump,
it was El Cheapo Grande. And then he had, of course, Porthole Guy. So then the Porthole Guy, it's such a stupid. This looks like something that would happen to Popeye more than the Ryu. Then you've got this old guy. He looks sort of like the Colonel Sanders, with a fireball gun, which is reminiscent of a Kane or something. You don't remember this guy when you came in through the glass of the skyscraper level?
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't show that. It was always a letdown. But so it's this old guy, and he's trying to kill you with his gun. His gun shoots fireball. And he was not hard at all, from what I could tell. It looks like he just pummeled him, and he seemed out of place.
Here's the thing. Well, no. You're missing the most valuable point.
Okay.
He shoots a gun, right? And when you get him down to half health, he rips off his human facade,
right?
And he's a big demon who's throwing huge fireballs and gets all his health back.
Well, he doesn't, but he sort of. It's more like a. I didn't get it that way. It looked like he inhabited, it looked like a statue. They come with the three-headed thing, and it shot the three fireballs.
That's later. That's later. You're getting them out of order. No, the skyscraper guy, he shoots his little gun, and when you get him down to half health, he burst open. He's a demon.
One would wonder why, if you're a demon, that you would bother to be in the guise of an old Colonel Sanders guy with a crap gun.
Well, that guy was over watching the arms shipment that was coming in from Hong Kong. Man, you've got to follow this story better, man.
Did the people over there pay you for this? You justifying this? Give me a break.
No,
if you were a cool demon, would you look like Colonel Sanders?
He had to stay in human facade.
Not when he was fighting you.
Listen, man. When you rip off your Colonel Sanders facade, you can't just crawl back into another Colonel Sanders.
So once you use it, it's gone?
Well, I mean, you have to, that stuff's hard.
Give me a break. What a load of crap. The last guy, I forgot now. We can't forget this guy. This is the guy with the statue. You're right. It's the Indian guy. He has like a flying carpet,
borderline racist,
and he shoots fireballs, and then but eventually he basically I don't know if the statue lights up after you kill the Indian guy. You have to fight this thing too.
Yeah,
he looked pretty hard. I didn't get to him. Did you get that far?
Yeah, I beat the game.
It's a man. Finally,
he was a hard boss. Until the ending part of him was the hardest boss in the entire game.
You thought so? Yeah. He looked hard.
I mean, the first boss was only hard because you had to learn his
attrition.
Trick.
Yeah.
But the ending boss was the hard. Once he inhabited the statue, it wasn't so bad. But when he was flying around on his carpet, because he threw fireballs at different speeds.
Yeah.
Which, while you're trying to dodge one, you end up running into the slow one. So yeah, he was the hardest one.
Yeah. The last guy is the demon himself.
Whoa, you can't just skip right to the last guy.
He's the last guy.
The inside of the temple are a column maze.
I do like the fact that you could get on that one part and there's a part of the column that would slide.
Spin, yeah.
Yeah. What building procedure calls for huge? What is that?
That was good old-fashioned platforming.
It was.
That was an awesome section.
How does that fit into the architecture of this temple?
Well,
every temple has a sliding large steel section that you can ninja-fy. I'm not buying it.
Yeah, no,
it looked almost like
how many ancient Hong Kong temples have you been in?
2.
No, 0. That's right.
You know what it reminded me of was, remember the levels in, like, I was one of the Mario games where you could get on either side of the fence and there'd be a little square where you could go like, that's what they reminded me of. So yeah, I will say that was probably the most platforming of looking at a bunch. Now I want to get back to, before we continue, I want to talk about the skyscraper level.
Okay.
So
that was the worst.
There's a level where you're climbing up the skyscraper. Which, okay, ninjas can do that.
Yeah, well,
but the problem I had with it was, like, the enemies. I don't know where this demon got these enemies, but they're the most suicidal bunch. Because these guys were coming. I mean, they were coming down the skyscraper and throwing these flying kicks and then falling to their death.
Yeah.
It was the darndest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, they would climb down, see you, jump and kick, and if you killed them, you killed them. If you just dodged them, they would slide down the edge of the building, like not like grab back on. They just slide down.
They would
to
die.
Their death. Yeah.
They were dead. It reminded me. You remember Conan, where what's the guy's name? James Earl Jones. Come here, my darling. Or when that girl walked off the thing. The demon had that kind of James Earl Jones power, the mind control.
Also, the whole reason why Ryu is climbing up the side of the skyscraper anyway is he gets to the port, and he's like, "Oh, I've got to infiltrate this place, but I don't want to alert the guards."
Yeah.
So,
despite the fact that hundreds of guards plummet to their death.
Also, this place has to be a potted plant factory because when you're on the stage, they're throwing down potted plants, and I don't mean like, oh, here's one, here comes one. They throw them down in chains of like 6.
Yeah.
It's like, whoa, 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 whoa.
This is like Crazy Climber on super steroids.
Yes.
They were launching these things.
Also,
and the funny thing is, he doesn't want to get detected, but there are hundreds and hundreds of people that know he's coming.
Also, their control of the avian kind is amazing. The birds, they control with their whim.
Listen, if you get...
But, you know what, though? That's actually all explained at the end of the game.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. The last guy, spoilers if you want to not get spoiled on Ninja Gaiden Game Gear. The end guy controls people with his mind.
Yeah.
And that's how he's actually starting World War III. Is he's got the all the nations all pissed off at each other through mind control, and he wants the sword to harness his power so that he can project and actually get everyone to hit the button.
Well, his plan was wacky. Let's just face facts.
This
whole game was wacky.
He didn't really say what he would benefit by starting the Third World War. I mean, he's an arms dealer, so maybe money?
Well, maybe he just wants chaos, the demon stuff. Now, this game, I haven't played some of the Ninja Gaiden games. This game is not that puzzly. It's not that platformy. I mean, except for that
one stage
level, and it's very basic. I'm trying to think I'm trying to think what I would equate it to. Maybe something like a what was that game we used to play? Like a Rastan, or some of the games where you just go right or go up and just kill everything. There's no real puzzle element to it. There's no real, something real basic, like an old arcade game from like the early '80s.
Yeah.
And so, what does that mean? Well, that means, would you want to play this a bunch? I mean, it would get old pretty quick, I think. The music's okay. We should mention that it's okay. I don't think it's anything wrong about it. It does. And the levels are repetitive as heck. I mean, you see the same scenery. We talked about that a couple weeks ago. They rehash the same stuff a lot on the individual levels. They don't really carry it over.
Outside, but the first level, you're running around along bricks. You cannot die. I mean, the enemies can kill you, but you can't fall to your death anymore.
Right.
The harbor level, it's all about the enemies trying to knock you into water.
Yeah.
Which that's the most Ninja Gaiden part of the whole game.
Oh no, I think the temple level is the most Ninja Gaiden part of the whole game.
The third level, you're climbing the skyscrapers. I mean, technically you could fall to your death or take enough damage, but you have to really suck for either of those things to happen. The level is really easy. And then the fourth level, where you're in the temple, that's it, guys.
Yeah,
4 levels.
Well, it's a short game, but I mean, it's
that's unacceptable.
The game, it wasn't met with strong praise. I will say the most Ninja Gatey thing about this was the cutscenes.
Yeah,
They
and
were
they were
shot
pretty
in
good.
that certain way that they do all the games, and they were okay.
No, they were nice. I'll have to say the story. At least there was a story because a lot of games like this don't
Ninja
have.
Gaiden, you have to have a story.
And the story it flowed together pretty well. The first act, they come to try to steal a sword. The second act, he tracks them to an arms deal boat, and the third act, to get from the arms deal to the third act, Ryu gets on the radio and pretends to be the guy, the arms dealer guy. So they give him the coordinates to take all the arms guns and stuff. And then when he gets to the top of the skyscraper, he gets captured. And then they're trying to torture him for the location of his sword.
They gas him, yeah.
They try to torture him for the location of the sword, but the sword, which this has never happened before or since, he has the ability to hide it in the ether. I mean, just totally out of the visual spectrum, and make it appear at his whim, and that's how he got free from that.
Ninja power.
And then at that point, you're like, well, I'm already here. I might as well go kill the bad guy.
Yeah. So I actually managed to find reviews for this.
Yeah,
I mean, the contemporary reviews from back when it was released.
Yeah.
So the French magazine Joystick gave this an 84. The magazine Next Gam, which I believe was German, gave it a 73. Sega Force, which was a UK magazine, gave it a 71. Power Play, another German magazine, gave it a 68, and EGM gave it a 68 as well. And so 68s and 67s sort of like were across the board. More modern reviews gave it a much lower score. Retro Game Reviews gave it, in 2014, gave it a 50, so they did not like it that much. So I think that happens a lot.
I think a 5 out of 10 or a 6 out of 10, somewhere in that range, is fair. The game is fun to play. I mean, playing the game, there's nothing wrong with it. The controls are good. There's some cheapness, but it's not
There's
really.
A lot of cheapness.
No, it's not that bad.
Those guys coming out of the water.
No, it's not that bad. It's not that, especially for a Ninja Gaiden game. The bosses are very find the pattern. I mean, I could go right now, and with the exception of the Indian boss, I could beat them all without getting hit.
Even I beat the first boss on my first play. Enough said.
So the biggest issue for me is the length of the game is way too short. 4 stages. I picked the game up knowing nothing about it, played it for 45 minutes, and was done. Well, I had beaten the game. I had beaten the game. That's ridiculous. 45 minutes, a $40 game. Unacceptable.
To put it in perspective, if I were to buy one of these 2 games to keep, I would probably buy Woody Pop.
I would buy Woody Pop.
And Woody Pop, I didn't like the controls that much, but it would probably hold my attention longer.
Yes.
So,
yep.
I did eBay on this, and for the card only, you're looking at $12 to $16, and for the complete box version, you're looking for $30. And while we're here, I had a look and see what a Game Gear was going for on eBay right now. A working Game Gear, and when you say working, you can assume that it's working, but probably doesn't look that great. You're looking at about somewhere between $40 to $60.
Yeah,
which is not bad if you can get one at that price, and sometimes a little bit lower.
But you have to know going in, guys, it's not going to last. You have to replace the screen, and probably the caps.
Yeah, because
it's just the screen rot is real, and it's just taking some of those old systems with it.
Yep, it's inevitable. So. Something else that's inevitable every week is when we spin the wheel.
No.
Hit the music.
Oh, all right.
Here we go. So tell them what we added this week, Brenny.
Chat choice.
Tell them what we added this week, and we'll have to play the hand we're dealt.
Now that we broadcast live every Sunday 9 a.m. EST. No, EDT. So,
oh boy.
Wait, what is it? It's
Eastern Standard Time. Goofy.
That's it. We will now be taking chat choice, if it comes up, chat choice live the day of the filming. So, Are you ready?
I think I'm ready, man.
You got a wish? You got something you hope comes up?
Well, you know, I'm easy. I figured out what some of the stuff was, so I'm less scared of it than I used to be.
You know what? I'm really hoping for some Mo.
Okay, I don't know what that means.
MMO.
Oh, okay. The PCFX. Okay, now, this isn't as bad as you think it is. I looked into the PCFX this week. Is that what we got? Oh, no, I'm wrong. Did we get... Is that what it was?
Yeah, it was.
Okay. The PCFX will be fun. We'll have a lot of fun with it. And it's one of those systems that we don't know anything about, but it's doable. It'll be a good time, I think. You don't seem impressed to say, what do you know about the PCFX, Brent? You made the pie piece. What do you think about it? This is your choice. Tell the folks at home what you know about the PCFX.
I hate it.
Why? Dude, why did you put it on the wheel? You're the one that made the wheel piece. Come on, pitch it to the people so they're going to watch the episode.
Well,
PCFX.
You like misery, don't you?
I do.
Come next week and watch me be miserable.
Give me a break. Do you have any joyous Christmas messages you'd like to send out to all the fine folks that have watched and supported ARG Presents over this first shaky year?
No.
You have
I'm just kidding. Yeah, actually, the kind words that are said through Discord really mean a lot to me.
And the vicious ones?
Those are okay too. The kind comments left on the videos, I really enjoy that kind of stuff. I obviously am not doing this for any kind of financial gain, but gaming, especially retro gaming, is a passion of mine, and these fine folks allow me to bring that to them each and every week. So I really appreciate it. As
this particular episode will drop on Christmas, I'd like to say Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays to all the fine folks out there in YouTube land and the people that listen to the podcast. You know, he's right. We're just this show is just we're just out here. We're making it up as we go half the time. We're having a good old time. We do find so many crazy systems. I've had people in chat with me that told me that because of the show they went out and bought new systems and looked into them, and that wasn't necessarily what we were after, but it's kind of cool to introduce
it's nice.
stuff.
I know when I find out something new or get introduced to something new and a passion I really enjoy, that means a lot to me, and knowing that we do that, you know, at least occasionally makes me feel good.
Yeah.
Also, to all your families out there, and I see actually my wife is in chat. Hello to you.
Poor beleaguered woman.
Oh, that's not nice.
Yeah, I'm talking about having to put up with you.
I know. But yeah, Merry Christmas to all. And
you want to say, how's the chat room looking here? This is our first official shot at going live.
We got
here.
12 T-Bird people.
All right, that's not bad. You want to name some off while we're in here? It's always good for a laugh. We got Matthew, Ravi. We've got the Boat is in. The Boat's in the house. Boat was actually going to be on the show today, but he didn't make it. He's preparing for his incredible extravaganza. Up at the house of Necronom, Duncan Styles, Andy. We got a lot of people in today, so that's nice. We were also 15 minutes late getting the podcast started, so hopefully we'll do better next time. So, next week, the PCFX. Pick the best PCFX game you can find and bring it down. And until then, we will sign off. Merry Christmas, everybody. Aaron out. There it was.
Why did it have to be that? Why couldn't it be Channel F?
You picked that. You picked that. You're the one that put that on the wheel. You spun the wheel and you made the deal.
This is going to be a rough week.
Let's see what they've got for this thing real quick. Hey, chat, guys. Thanks for everyone for showing up in the chat. We will try to do better next time. That's pretty much that should be our tagline. We will try to do better next time. Now, do you know what this thing even is? I don't think you even know what it is, do you? This is the PC Engine sequel. It's not that bad.
No, the issue is
there were 62 games.
I know I'm not going to be able to emulate this through Java, which means I'm going to have to struggle putting an emulator together.
Listen, homie, just go get your Xbox out, and you're good to go. You got nothing to worry. What are you worried about?
That's not so easy for me.
What do you mean? Go walk down to your basement, hit the on button.
No.
Listen. You've got a wealth of riches down here. You're telling me you can't emulate the PCFX?
No, I'm not saying I can't do it. I'm saying we've got Christmas and New Year's rolling around, so it's going to be a difficult time. Also, I'm alone at work this week.
That's great. Play it there.
Yeah, I wish it were. Unfortunately, I have to work at my work.
Sounds like a good idea to me. Hey, everybody. Thanks for showing up. I don't know. We could try to do this every week. Is that the plan?
Yeah.
Go live? Well, we're going to be as close to 9 o'clock as we can. Also, we forgot to change the name of the stream. That was on me. I was running behind this morning because I was out all night partying. But I'll be doing it. I'll be doing it again tonight at the boat. At the boat's super fest. But like I said, thanks for everybody showing up. We're going to cut her off here. I got gifts to wrap and. Wait. Stuff. Take care. What are you doing here?
I want to make Woody Pop and Ro dance.
Oh my God, man! Thank God that we don't normally go live. Everybody have a Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas,
talk
guys.
To you next time. Adios. I can't help myself.
I know.
Bo got on me for doing that this week. He goes, "We don't have a sign off on insert this too." I'm like, "Why not?" He goes, "Because it doesn't sound." What was it? He said, "No one does that anymore. It sounds hokey." Hokey. Hoke me up.
But we're different every week, so it's okay.
I'm running out of things to say.
How often do you have Woody Pop and a ninja dance around on your screen?
Oh God! Goodbye, everybody. Merry Christmas.